Hey guys, welcome back to Rossoneri TV. Drew here to give you the latest AC Milan transfer rumors. After yesterday's disappointing loss against Lazio, I think it's time to turn the page and focus on some transfer rumors because there's literally 1 week left until the end of the Mercato. Milan has acquired Cerci and Suso. However, it seems like there's still options out there where Milan could go after. So with 1 week left until the Mercato ends on February 2nd, here are the latest names. Let's start off with Gianpaolo Pazzini because according to Sky, Pazzini is being considered as one of the candidates to replace the injured Jurkovic, of course, the Lazio player. He got injured yesterday in the Milan's game. So apparently Lazio is trying to think of maybe getting Pazzini as his replacement. Of course, earlier this month, it was stated that Pazzini will remain at Milan after Torres left, of course. But it seems like there's still a possibility of him going out by the end of this Mercato. So we will see what develops in the next few days. Now, here's an interesting report by Calcio Mercato because they state that the defense, the entire defense, or almost the whole department, is on the transfer market. Now, according to them, a major part of this defense risks to pack their suitcases either in this January Mercato or in the summer Mercato. Now, let's start off with the names because Mek says his contract ends this year, and his contract will probably not be renewed for next seasons or for the seasons to come. That is because major part of that is because of his poor discipline, his repeated acts of poor discipline. Of course, we saw what happened last night with Mauri, but along with his performances, which haven't been stellar for a guy that pretty much earns a lot, really, it seems like Milan is not planning to renew his contract. Their minds might change by the end of the season depending on what he does for the team. But this is what has been reported. Now, moving on, Zapata will most probably leave as well. His performance haven't convinced Milan and Inzaghi this season. Of course, the few times that he played, he made a lot of mistakes, scored own goals. Just not the type of defender that you want playing for your club. So his contract will be looked at after the season, or pretty much he's going to be on his way out in the summer. Of course, defense, a major problem at Milan this season and in the past few years, so it needs to be addressed altogether. Moving on, Zaccardo is another name which is definitely likely to depart. It's been a year now or maybe 2 transfer windows where Milan has been trying to get rid of him. Of course, we know the whole situation in the summer where Milan tried to get rid of him, of course, to get Biabiani, but that didn't happen. Now they're trying to get rid of him in this January window, but still the major problem is that there's no team that's quite interested in the player. Therefore, it's hard for him to even find another team unless he's willing to join some team for a reduced wage or something like that. So we will see what happens with him. Albertazzi, another name. He hasn't been used by Inzaghi at all or very little so far this season. So he might be on his way out as well. Now, there are other names which could be potentially be on this market due to their high market value. And I'm speaking about Rami, which, of course, he has been wanted in the past by several teams such as Arsenal, Monaco, Man United. These are teams that will probably feature in Champions League football even next season. So maybe a move to these teams will gladly be good for Rami, a player that was forced to reduce his own wages to stay at Milan this season. So we will see what happens with him. Also, Alex, a player that came on a free transfer. He hasn't been playing a lot this season. He has a share of games, of course. But for a guy that came on a free transfer and is earning $5 million on wages, Milan will definitely like to see if they could get maybe something for him. So his age is not appealing, but he might still be on the market. And Bonera, finally, the guy turns 34 this May. Much criticism to the guy, of course, but this season he actually has been having some good games. So Milan still regard him as a key man in the locker room, one that motivates players, one that maybe should even act as a captain at some points, according to Milan. So that is why they might still keep him after this season. So this is pretty much a situation as the defense goes. Each player is not sure of his position as of yet in order for this season or next season. So we will have a close look at that in the near future. Now let's move on to some more individual players, because Everton Ribeiro, of course, the Cruzeiro midfielder, Milan have offered 10 million euros for this guy, to own him at full rights. That is 100%. The 25-year-old Cruzeiro midfielder, playing very well. He's a Brazilian, which of course is highly regarded. However, they will have to compete. Milan will have to compete against Al-Ahly. Of course, they have offered reportedly 9 million euros for 60% of the players. So that is not even the full value, and they're offering almost as much as Milan. So we will see what happens there. However, Sky's Di Marzio says that Milan haven't even made an offer for the player, and that this rumor is not true. So we'll see what happens in the next few days. I don't think we're going to be getting this guy in this transfer window. As I said, there's only a week separating. The distances are actually quite far between Italy and Brazil. So I don't think anything will develop, but it might be a name that will be posted to Milan for the summer transfer window. So let's keep this name in regard. Finally, Michael Essien, MLS club FC Dallas, has reportedly sent an offer for the Ghanaian. However, AC Milan has turned it down as they deemed it was too low an offer for the player. Now, Milan is willing to let the player leave this January transfer window. Of course, not many good performances for him. Really been lackluster altogether, very slow in that midfield. So they're willing to let the player leave this transfer window. However, if the right demand and, of course, if the right offer arrives for him. So we'll see what happens. And finally, the last name I'll be talking about is Hakim Mastour. Now, after securing Martin Odegaard, of course, the big name this week, which has been announced by Madrid, a 16-year-old, which is, I think, making 80,000 pounds or euros a week, which is incredible wages for a 16-year-old. Well, apparently, Madrid want to keep going even further than that and capture Hakim Mastour. They're pushing really hard for the 16-year-old. Of course, Hakim Mastour still has a contract with Milan until June 2017. However, he's not finding any time with Milan's with Inzaghi's Milan side, so he might be going in these next few days to Madrid. Of course, further discussions between these two clubs are expected in the next few days. However, even if he does go, I think he will be playing in their B team, that is in their Serie B Liga, second division, I think it's called. Therefore, we'll see what happens with that. But I don't think Milan is ready to let the player leave just yet. Of course, he hasn't been seeing any time at all, which is kind of discouraging for such a young player with full potential. But maybe if Madrid do acquire him and he goes playing with their B team, he will get much more experience, and he can even make the move to the senior team in a few years, where he will obviously see some more playing action. So let's see what happens with all of this, guys. Lots of names still being closer to Milan. Lots of names might be on the way out, as I mentioned. So let me know your comments. What do you guys think on all of this? What do you guys think about players leaving, players coming in? The whole Mercato situation with 1 week remaining in this transfer window. Let me know in the comments section, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to Rossoneri TV to stay updated with everything AC Milan, from match previews, reviews, transfer rumors, discussions, and match more. Everything to keep you updated. Thank you for watching. This has been Gio from Rossoneri TV signing off. And as usual, Forza Milan.